Hey, August 10th. NFL preseason would have been here, but instead we got NBA regular season. It's a good thing. We got lots of NBA games once again, as always. NBA tip-off, WagerTalk TV, 3 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday, live each and every weekday. And I've got the usual suspects here: Tony Finn, Teddy Covers, Rob Vino. Hey, guys, I'm not going to waste any time. We got a daytime game that's already tipped as normal, but we also have one that's about to start. So I'll throw it around real quick, maybe if you guys have anything. Tony, anything in this daytime game goes in a few minutes, Dallas, Utah?
There's a lot of things that are going on in this game. Obviously, there's a lot of key pieces missing on the Dallas side that aren't going to play. And you saw the line move significantly. You saw Dallas about a bucket favorite, and I don't know what it closed at. Last time I looked, I think it was about 7 points. And as soon as those things listen, there's only been one game in this reshuffle, this restart, that I've touched a line that's moved that large. And it was early on. It was the Lakers. If you remember the Lakers sitting LeBron, and I happened to get into that, got that 2 points, and then saw it steam and cashed on it. But I'm kind of staying at this point in time, guys. I'm going to stand back from this because there's reasons why the line moved this much, and there's reasons why Dallas is sitting 80% of their offensive production.
Teddy, do you see anything in this? Jazz -6. They opened +2, like Tony said. Big Lube. Jazz now -6 in your tip-off.
All right, so let's let people know who's in and who's out.
There you go.
No KP, no Luka for Dallas, as well as the 5 guys they've been missing the whole time: Dorian Finney-Smith, Cauley Stein, Courtney Lee, Brunson, and Powell. They're all out. But for Utah, this line shot up as high as 7.5. Now it's back down to 6 as a prevailing number because Donovan Mitchell has been downgraded to out for today. If you watch the Jazz play the Nuggets on Saturday, that was an all-in game for Utah. And we saw the initial line move for both this game and the Nuggets game. The money was coming against Utah. The money was coming against Denver. Those teams absolutely left it all on the floor on Saturday. So I understand Dallas is sitting guys, but I will not lay points with Utah today. It's Mavericks are past for this better. And Dallas, without Luka and Porzingis, they still have a lineup that can still fill a lineup, and they can still I think give Utah trouble today. Mavs are past for this better.
Yeah, and Rob, as far as the total here, big drop on this one, 228.5, now down to 221.5. Obviously, as Teddy and Tony both said, some key players are out for both teams. But then again, it sounds like a playground mentality to me from both teams today. Do you think, Rob, they have enough to maybe get over that total?
That's guesswork, Steve. For me, at least, that's guesswork, and I just don't want to get involved where I have to guess what it's going to be. There's been a lot of those games, to tell you the truth, where there's been injury and you have to figure. The Philly-Orlando game that I think that we talked about Friday, the last time we were on air here, where Orlando was short 2 starting forwards. Are they going to play quicker? Philadelphia without Ben Simmons, how's that going to look? So for me, I had nothing here on the Dallas-Utah game. I think these are both better in-game situations than they are full-game situations. See how the thing is going. If you like something, react to it. Otherwise, there's no reason to play either one of these in my mind.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, Rob. I know, Tony, you love in-game wagering. I mean, this game's about to tip off here at 3 Eastern. Utah wants about a 6-point favorite still. Dallas, 221.5 or so is the total. So we'll see what happens. And over the next 40 minutes or so, guys, if you guys see any in-game opportunities here, chime in, let the viewers know. Speaking of in-games, we do have one other game going on now that we'll touch real quick. Oklahoma City against Phoenix. Thunder up by 7 right now, late in the first quarter. Oklahoma City went off as a 7.5-point dog. 221 was that total. Tony, anything you're looking at that in game?
I feel so bad that I don't have some insight, some fantastic, magical, mystical insight on this game either. But these are a couple teams in this situation, especially when they face each other, that I've had trouble gauging, reading, and as Rob just said, if I'm going to flip a coin or I'm going to guess on a game, it's not going to be this one. I have other games we'll talk about guessing on them.
Yeah, Teddy, I mean, the Suns were 7.5-point favorite. They're now down by 9 late in the first quarter. Any interest in Phoenix here on an adjusted number?
Maybe. I think the better play is Utah or OKC for the full game. and not just because of the start. I mean, the money poured in against the Thunder today because they were sitting a bunch of guys. Gilgeous Alexander's out, Steven Adams out, Noel's out. And I wonder how their bench is going to look throughout the course of the contest, because They're scraping off the ends of the bench today. So the money came for Phoenix. But the quotes, if you saw the Chris Paul quote, there was one prior to the game against the Wizards yesterday talking about how he was really emphasizing getting off to good starts and hot starts. And they did yesterday against the Wiz, and they did today here against Phoenix. Now they're up 12. OKC first quarter, first half made a whole lot of sense in each of the last 2 days. As terms of in-game right now, the Suns have been the best team in the bubble. They haven't been a hard team to handicap at all. They've been the one bet-on team the most, along with Indiana. But Phoenix has covered them all, which means their bandwagon is pretty big. We saw that today with the line move here. Don't want the favorite. Now it's 14.
Yeah, I was going to say a 12, 14-point lead here, 2 minutes to go in the first. As you referenced yesterday, the Thunder went off as a 9-point favorite against the Wiz, won by 18, getting Tony Finn one game closer to the to the over-8er bet that we have in show here. But we've got some time to go on that. And I think Teddy knows that his best chance for the Wizards to win will be over the next week, most likely, when these teams keep sitting guys like they're starting to do. Wizards have nobody to sit. All their guys have been sitting since the bubble started, so it'll be a different world. I'll tell you, Rob, did you see anything in this early game that you're keeping an eye on? Oklahoma City up by double digits as a 7.5-point dog.
Yeah, you might want to look toward Phoenix in game now, Steve. Now, I'm not sure because I'm not staring at the box score right this second. If somebody has it pulled up, you can help me out. But I don't believe DeAndre Ayton made the start of this game.
No, he did.
I don't think he's – he did or he didn't?
I heard that he wasn't going to, and then I heard that he was eligible to play, but he has not played yet.
Right, because they're driving him to the game.
Yeah.
in essence, so once he gets available,
he's not in there. He's not in there, Rob, right now in the lineup as we talk. Just so you know, and I'm going to give you his minutes. And I heard the same thing you did. He has yet to register any minutes.
All right, so if I'm going to be proactive, Steve, I know DeAndre Ayton's en route to that game. He's going to play in that game. He passed the COVID-19 test. He's going to play, which would give you your starting center for the remainder of the game, or even if you get him for the second half. In game now is probably with Phoenix a decent way to go. You're going to get your star center at some point in this contest.
Yeah, just from a contrarian nature, at a line value nature, it's hard to imagine it's anything but Phoenix here on the end game with such an adjustment from the regular line. But isn't it something, though, guys, that we see the Suns go off as a 7.5-point favorite over the Thunder? Beginning of the bubble a week ago, the other team would have been favored. This is like a double-digit line swing.
Yeah, but you have a team on the second of back-to-backs that's sitting many of their key guys. That's why the line is what it is. This is the last week of the regular season. The last week of the regular season, you always see, some 20-win team favor over a 60-win team because the 60-win team isn't playing anyone. That's the case for OKC today.
Yeah, and it's just,
let's back up just one quick step here, Steve, because in Teddy's analysis earlier, he said that no, Phoenix hasn't been difficult to handicap. They've been the correct side every single game. They've been the best team in the bubble, which is absolutely true. If you had that team handicapped that way heading into the bubble, I don't know a lot of people that thought Phoenix was going to do the damage that they did. So they get one, and you think to yourself, well, that's a fluke. They get two, and you're still a little leery. They get three, and maybe you have enough guts to start pulling the trigger. But, boy, for those who back Phoenix from the get-go, congratulations, because they have paid off in spades.
Yeah, and of course they opened up against the Wizards. That was the biggest favorite until today. They were 6.5-point favorite, but then they were a dog in 3 straight games. But Dallas and the Clippers, very bipolar teams so far. The Pacers was probably, you could say, their best win as a 1-point dog. Won that one by 15. Pacers have played harder than I expected coming into the bubble, and then they beat the Heat on Saturday. So they've had some decent wins here recently, but they haven't exactly been beating the world beaters. But it's interesting to me, guys, that they've got the Sixers and Mavericks on deck for the last 2. And we've all been joking about the Sixers here for a week now. I know mid-major Matt, Matt Josephs is a Sixers fan. He regrettably roots for them. But, it'll be interesting to see how Phoenix does in these last 2. I'll go back around. Teddy, do you think they can go 8-0? Would you take that bet? Tony Finn, in-show wagers?
Could they? Yeah. But they're going to lose today, so no.
Got you. That's a good point. Well, that's a good point. Yeah, they're down by 15 now. So, other than today, I guess, they're done. It looks like, So if you think they're going to go undefeated, you're getting a hell of a price right now in game down by 15. Yeah. So that's probably the way to play.
Well, right now I'm seeing the Suns -1.5, -2.
Really? Down by 15? Wow.
Well, they know people know Aiton is coming, and they know OKC is on the second of back-to-backs, and they know that OKC isn't fully, isn't healthy.
Still down by 14, 15 points. Down by 14 now. Into the first quarter, they're down by 14.
They know all that. They just don't know what's going to happen. So that's the beauty, the interesting part of this. And once we're done with the show here, I don't know how much time's left.
We got about 35
as much as you
minutes
want, Tony.
Are we going to have? I'd like to have 5 minutes of the game when we're done. That's all.
Yeah, we only got 3 games that are coming up, so that's why I wanted to spend a little more time on these end games today, because we did have one tip a little earlier. And we're going to bump Ski Profit into the lineup here as well. What perfect timing here. Ski, I'll give you a shot at these 2 games going on right now. Utah-Dallas just tipped off. And we were talking also about your hell yes Phoenix Suns, who are down by 14 at the end of the first quarter as a 7-point favorite.
Yeah, did Aiton, he didn't play, right?
He hasn't played yet.
He's en route, apparently. So there's some speculation he'll be in the lineup at some point. And Teddy said that the Suns are actually a slight favorite still to win the game down by 14 at the end of the first quarter.
Wow. If that's the case, I mean, I would take
not anymore. Not anymore.
Okay. It was -1.
It's
What's the end game now, Teddy?
The 4.5. OKC 4.5.
Okay, so the adjusted game line would be Phoenix plus 9.5 now when they went off minus 7.5. So you're talking about a 17-point difference from the original game line after 1 quarter, though. Amazing.
If that's the case, then I would take the Phoenix plus the 9.5. I mean, they've been hot. They can maybe pick it up and close. They're only down by 14. 9.5 is 5 points. I'm not watching the game, though.
It's nothing. It's no lead.
Teddy, is that correct?
In the NBA.
No, they're not.
4.5.
They're minus 4.5 in game right now.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
minus 9.5.
Keep me off of that one.
Minus 4.5 for the game?
Yeah.
Phoenix.
You were saying it was a 9.5 point move.
When you said they weren't -1 anymore, I think you meant they were plus 4.5. They're minus 4.5.
So, no. OKC is minus.
Correct.
The Thunder are up 14. They are now the favorites in the game.
Gotcha. I was looking at it the wrong way. Yeah, the adjusted game line is plus 4.5 for Phoenix. Minus a 12-point difference. 12-point difference. Gotcha. In-game live on NBA Tip-Off Live weekdays, Monday through Friday, 3 Eastern. Ski, did you see anything in this other game that just tipped off, Dallas-Utah?
Utah's going to be without Donovan Mitchell. I know Dallas is missing their superstars, but they should still be able to compete. I would probably take whatever points they're offering with Dallas.
And right now, Dallas is up 6-5 about 3 minutes in. They went off as a 6-point dog. They have a 1-point lead now. So we'll keep an eye on those 2 games. We only have 3 games coming up this evening, guys, instead of 4 to normally talk about. So we have a little extra time for each game. But let's go around, and I'll tell you what we'll do. Since we have a little extra time with the 3 games, let's recap the weekend since we didn't have a weekend show. And if you saw nothing, that's fine. But, Tony, did anything jump out to you Saturday or Sunday since we last talked on Friday?
I'm sure it did, but that was yesterday and the day before. That's a long time ago in my world. I didn't play. Here's the deal. I played nothing this weekend. I looked. I didn't play anything. And I guess I'll defend myself a little bit, and that is, to my defense, at this point in time, I'm fairly selective. Jumping in on some of these, it has to really jump out, grab me in the ass, and pull me in at this point in time, like Teddy said, in the last week of the regular season.
Yeah, no, Teddy, like you said, I mean, this weekend will be a lot different than what we see the next few days, and we started to see it some this past weekend. But anything jump out to you on Saturday or Sunday's games?
Sure. I got quotes from 20 different coaches. Where do you want me to go?
Anything that'll apply going forward?
This is one that absolutely stands out. All right.
Mm-hmm.
New Orleans yesterday.
Yeah. Okay.
And clients and I cashed ticket on the Spurs yesterday, plus the points against the Pelicans. Before the game, Alvin Gentry called it a Game 7 type game. Okay. This is the quote from J.J. Redick. After the coach says this is Game 7, J.J. Redick, we just didn't have any competitive spirit to start the game. We were flat. We weren't talking. That's what it comes down to. When your coach says today's Game 7 and you get that quote out of J.J. Redick, I mean,
okay, what's that mean to you, Teddy?
it means you bet against the Pelicans.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say they went off as a 3.5-point favorite, lost by 9, correct?
It means Alvin Gentry won't be their coach next year.
I could not.
Yeah.
That's what I'm waiting for you to say, Teddy. You're I believe that 100% as well. Yeah. Listen, I'm still surprised he's in this league, so that's just me.
Well, he's out there. I mean, I don't think Gentry's the only coach that's lost a job here in the bubble.
I agree. I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, some coaches have saved their job maybe. You look at a situation like Phoenix, just, if Phoenix doesn't make the playoffs, they've played hard. Do you think that makes a difference? Not that they're necessarily on the hot seat, but, it can go both ways, obviously.
Yeah.
Shoot.
I'm careful, Teddy. I guess, Steve, I'm careful about saying a team doesn't play hard because certain players, other people come to me and say he's not playing hard. I say, well, have you watched him play for years? Because that's how he plays, and he doesn't look like he's running full speed. He's running, and so I'm very careful about something like that. You won't hear me say that unless their heads are hanging and their shorts are down around their knees.
Well, the thing too is
just real quick. I mean, the two other coaches, and I think Luke Walton is safe in Sacramento because they signed him to a 4-year deal and he's only finished one of it.
Right.
But I don't think there was a coach that did a worse job in the bubble than Luke Walton and the Kings. He would be, if I was going to, it's okay, one coach has to be fired, he'd be the one, in my opinion. And there's a third coach who I think has put themselves on the hot seat, and that's Brett Brown in Philly.
Wow.
Did he just put himself there, or has he been there?
I think Quinn Snyder is as well. I'm not a big Quinn Snyder fan, and I don't want to throw him under the bus, but I just think this team's capable of much more than they have produced and played myself.
I think Utah gets the mulligan just because of all the off-court stuff that's happened with that team. And I think, frankly, when I look at the job Snyder's done, I've been impressed. Not,
really?
Yeah, absolutely. That team's not that good. We're going to make money betting against Utah in every game in the first round because they're not very good.
Okay, let me word it differently. I think he could have used his personnel differently. I think that team could be better, and I don't think he put them in a position to be better. That's just my thinking. So.
Yeah. Those are fighting words towards Tony.
It is.
Utah Jazz.
we could have some in-show wagers. Think about them. First coach fired. We could have some givers and takers at some point. So think about that. We'll do some in-game.
I could throw one more in here, Steve.
Go ahead.
If I can, I'll throw in Brooklyn Jacques Vaughn, a guy who wasn't supposed to keep that job heading in here. And Jacques Vaughn's done nothing but good stuff with Brooklyn. Shorthanded lineups every other day. Brooklyn's competitive for the most part. I mean, I'll throw the Boston game away. They did get destroyed in that one. But, I mean, they upend Milwaukee as a 19-point dog. They come out strong last night against the Clippers. I think Jacques Vaughn might have earned himself the Brooklyn job at this point.
He learned from a great coach.
Yeah, and Brooklyn's in a situation, they can get some players here for the next few years, being in a big market. It'll be interesting.
In retrospect, the Bucks line, the Nets line yesterday, I should say, was the dumbest line of the entire bubble. The 14.5, where that opened 14.5, that was a bad line. That was legitimately the markets really didn't know what to do, and the books got blasted on that game. That was by far the worst game of the day, and I think one of the worst games of the bubble.
For the viewers out there, the Nets closed 9.5-point dog. The Clippers won outright, but they're up by 21 after the first quarter. So not much opportunity to hedge if you're on the wrong side of that one with the Clippers yesterday. And that's how the bubble's
to show you guys real quick. It just goes to show you that Brett Brown was mentioned. He came out and ripped his defense, and Philly still hasn't responded for 3 games. Now, there's injury concerns. Believe me, we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. But the head coach, that's almost a sign that the team doesn't want to do what the head coach says, right? And then Teddy just mentioned another case where Alvin Gentry, coach wants to win, but the players have to want to win too, or the players have to want to do what the coach says. And if they don't, it's a loss of job. Be interesting to see what happens with Brett Brown. I mean, you could argue both ways. I've argued both ways. I think the players are a little bit unresponsive, but again, that means a new coach should get in there and see if they respond to him.
Yeah, and mid-major Matt's in the chat room, Matt Joseph, who hosts the baseball show every weekend, a lifelong Philly fan in all regards, and I tell him, leave Brett Brown on the spinning teacups in Disney, as that'll shake him into place. Maybe that'd be my vote. Ski, did you see anything this weekend that surprised you that you took going forward here for the final week? It definitely looks like teams are starting to sit guys, as we were discussing.
Things to take forward for this week is be careful. You're seeing all these people sitting out, and you see in the games where they even play, they don't play in the second half or fourth quarter. So be careful of your wagers at this time before playoffs.
Yeah, and I mentioned the NFL preseason should be here normally in August at the top of the show, and instead we have the NBA regular season, but it's really like handicapping the preseason this final week. It's going to be about motivation, about player personnel, and kind of reading between the lines and, what teams want to do. Just look at the standings, guys. Wizards, of course, 0-6. We've known they've been on the outside looking in. They have 2 games left. But the West is what's really interesting. You have Memphis, who was in the 8th seed. They technically are still a half a game up despite going 1-5 so far. They're trying their darndest not to be the 8th seed, and they're still there. You've got teams like Sacramento 1-5 as well. Pelicans 2-4, but as Teddy said, be very cautious with them over these last 2 games. Spurs 4-2. Nobody gave the Spurs a chance. They're 4-2. Suns 5-0, and maybe 5-1 after today. But it's remarkable. It's going to be very exciting to see that 8th in the West, and that's really all we have looking forward to this week as far as motivation, I would think. I'll tell you, before we get to the 3 nighttime games and start handicapping them, let's go around quickly, tell you what we got at Wager. It's $9 Monday at WagerTalk.com. So it's a very simple concept. You save a ton of money. You can basically get every pick on the panel here for what it would cost you to get 1 or 2 picks normally. Tony Finn, what you got going at WagerTalk.com Monday?
I don't have any NBA tonight. I have 2 baseball. I have a big ticket, a main event type of 5-star play, 5% play that I really like. It's one of the late games. It's one of the 3 late games. I'll give you that much.
Teddy, what you got going?
Yeah, I'm running pretty good. I didn't lose a game all weekend in any sport,
Nice.
so I can't complain in that regard. I've got the pair of plays up in the NBA for tonight and 1 in MLB as well. So looking for the 3-0 sweep and keep the hot streak rolling.
Awesome. $9 Monday, WagerTalk.com. Normally plays are anywhere from $25 to $40. Everything's $9, so it's fantastic savings. Rob Vina, what you got going for Monday?
Right now, Major League Baseball is up and available. Best bet. I apologize to those on $9 Monday who come in early and want to take advantage of the deal for not having my NBA up early. But as Ski said, careful, careful, careful. And I've been real good this year in the NBA because even before the shutdown, still careful. NBA with load management, which continues on through the bubble here, is difficult to release early in the day unless you really, really love something. You can like a lot, and then you see how the day proceeds, and then you play it. I'm pretty sure we're going to have an NBA play up there at the conclusion of this show. But right now, it's Major League Baseball, 4% best bet, $9 Monday. Yesterday, another 3-0 in the NBA. So this train keeps rolling on.
Well
Awesome.
done, well done.
Yeah. And once again, the $9 promo is good all day and all evening. So people don't have to jump in there at 9 a.m. and get it. I can go there right before tip-off and get the night games as well. So, $9 Monday, start and
I
finish.
think it's fair to say, too, guys, this is a different time. Listen, last year at this time, I was putting up overnight MLBs, and this is just a different time. There's a lot of things that have to be watched that we didn't have to watch last year. That's just the bottom line.
Yeah, whether it's baseball or basketball.
That's right.
Pitchers,
Yeah.
COVID's everywhere. We got to worry about that in every sport every day. But then also the lineup changes, the shortened season. So, yeah, it's smart to maybe take an extra hour or 2 and wait and get better plays up there. And I think clients realize that and they appreciate it.
Yeah.
Ski, what you got going on? I know you've been crushing at WNBA as well. NBA, of course, but WNBA, Ski Profit, what you got for Monday?
Yeah, as we said, I'm being careful. I was looking at these games. I had a couple of games that I liked, and the games that I like, injuries galore, sitting out galore. So I took a step back. We'll see if I get there a little bit later today. But I do have a WNBA total up on my page, and I have a WNBA free play.
I know going into the weekend last week, what were you, 11-4 to start the season, Ski, and the WNBA have been crushing it.
Yes, sir. And going back to last year, I was on a nice run in the playoffs, about 70%.
Fantastic. And it's not a coincidence, guys. He's a great NBA handicapper. Not a coincidence that transfers over to the WNBA as well. That's also pro basketball. Don't forget women's version. I have 2 best bets for Monday night at WagerTalk.com. Nice 2-0 sweep yesterday on Sunday in baseball and basketball. Going to look to do it again tonight. And both of those are nighttime games for Monday for myself, Steve Merrill. And once again, $9 Monday for everybody here on the panel, WagerTalk.com. Tony Finn, I'll go around in order here. We'll look at the first early evening game for Monday. This goes at 6:30 Eastern. It's the ESPN game at 6:30 Eastern. We've got Milwaukee right now, a 5.5-point favorite over the Raptors. This is actually a great matchup. I'm not sure what we'll see tonight, but definitely looking like the front runner to be the Eastern Conference Finals in a few weeks.
You know, last year the Toronto Raptors beat the Bucks 4 times in 7 games. And this year, I want to know. I don't have a feel for this. If I'm going to like someone here, I don't consider what Toronto did against Memphis as a bounce back from that 22-point loss that they took when we were all praising and patting them on the back last week. Things like that. It does not discount what they did before that. But the Raptors lost the first 2 games against Milwaukee this year in the regular season before they came to the bubble. And I want to know if Milwaukee got that hard on out of the system and from losing in the finals, and we're going to have a good game tonight. There's some question marks about who wants to win, who doesn't want to win, who cares in this game. But I'll tell you right now, I like Toronto in this game. I still think Toronto, and I like a competitive game here, and I'm rambling because I believe if you look at the quotes like Teddy does, if you look at the quotes of this Milwaukee team, they still don't think they're there. They're still trying to get better, as he said they would be doing at this point in time.
Yeah, Teddy, I mean, this would be a great matchup if everybody was playing, if the motivations were there. I mean, how do you think these two teams are approaching this game tonight?
Well, I'm not thinking. I'm doing my research and finding the quote. Here's the quote. All right, Nick Nurse from Toronto after the win yesterday. And it's worth noting, before I give you that quote, this is from Taylor Jenkins from the Grizzlies, their head coach, talking about the Raptors, they got a full-on dose of A-level Toronto yesterday. Quote, Taylor Jenkins, that's an elite team right there. That team's got a great shot to play in the finals. I thought our guys brought it today, and Toronto won and covered. So that's the Raptors when they bring their A game. This is what Nick Nurse said after the game. Quote, we've played heavy minutes. Yeah. We did what we kind of needed to do to go 4-1 in the restart and put this thing where it needed to be. I would say you'll see a little bit of everything here in the last 3 games as far as lots of guys playing. That is the definition of a bet against quote. It's the definition because he's not saying this guy and that guy and the other guy are out. So the markets haven't said, oh, this guy and that guy and the other guy are out. What he's saying is we're fat and happy. We don't give a shit, period. That's what that quote says when you read between the lines. So I want no part of Toronto in this game. Now, of course, it was just announced that Giannis is going to sit for Milwaukee. But one of the things Tony said, and Tony actually said something that made sense a minute ago.
Thank you.
Which I really appreciated. And what he was saying that made sense is that Milwaukee isn't there yet.
No. Yeah.
All the quotes from Budenholzer are, we're not there yet. We need to get there. We're playing hard down the stretch. We had our we're going to sit guys game. We had our, the second half of the Nets game and all of that. So it feels to me like there's a sense of urgency from one team here and no sense of urgency for the other team here. And, oh, by the way, from the opener, the money's come on the team that has the sense of urgency against the team that doesn't have the sense of urgency. I think you guys know what I bet on this game. Don't buy my word.
I think you did. Hey, Chris Middleton, this is what Chris Middleton said, Teddy, and everybody here. We're getting there. But at the same time, our focus isn't being the same team we were. It's about being better, being sharper, being smarter. That's what we have to do in order to get where we want to get. And it's the same theme for all these players and the coach. You're right.
I'll bring Ski Profit back in. Ski, what are your thoughts here on this daytime game? We've got Bucks Raptors. Teddy was saying, the Raptors look like maybe they don't have that motivation following. By the way, the Raptors have been very motivated, as you guys know. Probably playing harder than the Bucks the first 3-4 games. They went 3-0. They've gone 1-1 since. But Ski, do you see something here in this early evening game on ESPN?
Yeah, this was one of those games. If the Raptors were in, like the starters were in, it was a situation where I maybe would look towards them coming off of that blowout loss. I would expect them to bounce back. We talked about last week. It's a team that we expect to be motivated and to show the whole league that they're still here. So that's what I was looking for now. Without maybe Kyle Lowry, maybe Van Fleet. I was leaning Raptors and under, but if you like the other side, I think it correlates. Milwaukee and over, Raptors and under. This one right now, without Giannis, I would still probably lean towards Milwaukee and maybe more points and not so much defense. If the Raptors are sitting their players, they're saying that they don't really care so much about this game, and maybe we don't see that defensive effort.
Yeah, and Rob, we've seen the line jumping around. It was 5.5. I think it hit 6-7 in some spots and came back down to 5 when Giannis was out. Now it's 5.5 again. Rob, what are your thoughts on Bucks Raptors?
Yeah, I love what Ski said in conclusion there because I'm of the same mindset where over is concerned. Milwaukee's done nothing, guys, defensively. Tony and Teddy both said that the head coach Budenholzer and various players don't think they're there yet. And all you got to do is use your own eyes and see that they're not there yet as far as defense is concerned. The Dallas Mavericks the other night, probably the most amazing statistic I've seen so far in the bubble, maybe of the season. 37 assists, 6 turnovers. Where the hell's the defense? 6 turnovers in
That's a
an
good
NBA
point.
game. Guys throw it around the court 6 times for fun.
Right.
Never mind only committing 6 turnovers in a game. So Luka, I think in that game, Luka had 19 and 2. Guys, it was a game where he just totally went off. He's something special. But to the point of Milwaukee not playing defense, it isn't there whatsoever. Like I say, Ski hit on a couple of points that I really like. I don't know that Toronto's defensive effort is going to be there. We know from regular season games that even when Giannis is out, Milwaukee has had the ability to score 130 points. They just step right up. They got enough depth to do it. So for me, yeah, the number was a little bit high, mid to high 220s. But I still think this game could get up and over the total. Should be a little more of a pace game and a little more of an offensive style game. There's something to note here, guys, that I want to bring up real quick. And I don't know how this is going to play. It doesn't take place in this particular game, but it takes place in Dallas, Utah, and Denver Lakers. It's the first time that games are going to be played in this Advent Health Arena. So those 2 games I just have a little asterisk next to see if the rims are not friendly, if guys aren't used to that environment. But this Advent Health Arena is the 4th one that's being used, hasn't been used at all to date. So put a little check mark and see how those 2 games go as far as scoring points are concerned.
Interesting. And as you mentioned, Utah-Dallas is in that right now, and that's mid-first quarter, so it looks pretty high scoring so far. They got 51 points with 2.5 minutes to go in the first still, and the Utah's up by 5. By the way, the Hell Yes Phoenix Suns are getting closer now. They were down by 5. They're now down by 7, so there's a chance that they could still sweep and go 8-0. We'll see.
And
what happens.
Ayton is already. I mean, Ayton's there. And
He is.
Played yet?
Has he played yet?
Yeah. He's. I think he's in the game right now.
So they've outscored him so far by 7 in the second quarter. After getting outscored by 14, they're now plus 7 in the second quarter, outscoring him by 7. So we'll keep an eye on that. We'll get to that Lakers-Denver game, Rob. That was a great point about the new arena. We'll get to that here in a moment. That's the late one. Let's look at the game in between first. At 8 o'clock Eastern, we've got the Miami Heat, about a 4-point favorite, 3.5, 4, open 2.5. It's now up to 3.5, 4 over the Pacers. Total on that one's around 221. Tony, I'll start with you. Any thoughts on Heat Pacers?
I think there'll be plenty who will disagree with me, and there'll be some who will agree with me. And that is, I think this game has importance to both teams for several different reasons. Maybe not so much standings-wise as much as some other things. And one of them is the Jimmy Butler drama that will go on tonight. It's inevitable.
Atta boy, Tony.
We're going to see Jimmy Butler drama. But here's more than what I'm saying. I believe that if anyone's interested in fantasy, we'll go to jump fantasy, is that Adebayo should have his way tonight. I mean, he's been really good. If you're surprised about how he's performed this year, the All-Star has performed consistently, and he's been terrific in the bubble. And I think he fouls Turner out tonight, or either that or Turner sidesteps, and he has his way all game. There's nobody that can play with this kid right now, not for the Pacers because of their injury woes. And I like Miami, and I like a good, heated game tonight. That's just me.
And whenever you see some fantasy players, guys, throw them out there. I don't ask you, on the baseball show at 2 Eastern every day, and then the weekends at noon Eastern, Andrew and Matt both always do fantasy picks at the end. I don't mention it here on the show because, as we've talked about, so many guys are sitting out. It just seems kind of dicey to me. But, yeah, if you ever see any good fantasy guys or maybe some prop bets are available out there, throw it out there. Teddy, Pacers Heat tonight. Any thoughts on this one?
So, yeah, I mean, I've been giving out basically all my plays on the show, and I can't give them all out.
Hey, tell us the best bet. $9 Monday, Teddy. Make them go get it. I got no.
Yeah, this is my strongest opinion of the day. You can get it right now for $9 at WagerTalk or SportsMemo. It's a 4%.
Awesome. I like that $9 Monday.
I do have a strong opinion on this one.
Teddy just basically gave out his play for free in the Raptors Bucks. If you're joining us late, watch the replay. It's on YouTube every day after the show. And then if you want another best bet to follow it, go get $9 Monday at WagerTalk right now. Teddy covers as a strong 4%er on this one.
For what it's worth, I think this one's stronger. I've graded out this one stronger than that.
Okay, nice.
I'm interested now.
Yeah, so you got the Raptors Bucks free here if you're paying attention, and you get an even stronger one for just $9 more. Not a bad deal. That works out to $4.50 Monday for those two best bets from Teddy Covers. Rob Bino, what are you thinking on this one, Pacers and Heat?
I think that Teddy's leans package is even better than his pay for plays.
That's right, yeah,
so
the leans
he's
package is
got to be
red hot.
running fantastic right now with leans. Throw some leans out there, Teddy.
The players have been good lately. I finally got the switch flipped. I think it was last Thursday or Friday, and since then it's been real good.
Yeah, you said you swept
Beautiful.
this weekend, correct, Teddy?
Yeah, I haven't lost a game. I think I
Awesome.
lost a free play one day, but other than, it's been good.
Damn good work.
That's the way you want it to flip-flop. Guys, I just feel like Miami's a scary team when they're healthy. Jimmy Butler back tonight. Dragic back tonight. Both practiced yesterday. There's exceptional depth to this team. They are multi-pronged because when they're right, they can shoot threes. I mean, the emergence of Duncan Robinson this year has really helped the three-point shooting. I think Friday, Tony, you said they couldn't make a three-pointer.
Well, I was being sarcastic with Butler's not shooting any threes. He's not doing any shooting. He's just
He didn't play on Friday.
he might shoot somebody tonight. This is what we live for, right?
He's just
Anything that involves
biting, baby.
Pat Beverly and Russell Westbrook and T.J. Warren and
Yep.
Jimmy Butler. And guys,
Not
I
him.
mean, Jimmy Butler is liable to take T.J. Warren upon himself tonight. Now, I don't know that Eric will. I'm not sure that Eric Spoelstra will allow it. But, I mean, if it's up to Jimmy Butler, he'll go tell Eric Spoelstra, listen, I'm taking Warren. The guy's been unstoppable for sure. It's funny how Jimmy Butler's ready to play now for this game. Like what Tony said about Bam Adebayo, the quickness and just the relentless energy that guy plays with up and down the floor is really unlike any other center in the league. So Miami's got a lot of assets, but let's not sell Indiana short because there's a ton of assets there as well. They've played extremely hard and good during this 8-game stretch. But I have to lean towards Miami here. Up until a couple of games ago, they were really playing as good as anybody. Injuries kind of took their toll at that point. Teddy mentioned the spark plug of the starting unit is Jimmy Butler. The spark plug of the backup unit is Goran Dragic. Both there. Kendrick Nunn, no, right, guys? No Kendrick Nunn here. He's back in the bubble, but he can't play yet.
Right.
But the team is deep enough to absorb that. So for me, it would probably be Miami here.
Yeah, Ski, these two teams enter with equally strong 43-27 records. The difference is Indiana's now 4-1 in the bubble. Miami's just 2-3. Back-to-back losses for the Heat. Ski, do you think they bounce back? You see anything in this game?
Well, the one thing I would say, if you gave me this game before the restart, I would say Miami is probably going to kill them. T.J. Warren did not look like T.J. Warren that he is right now in this bubble. And Jimmy Butler's been hurt for a few days. I want to touch on it. It was a couple of good points from everybody. Tony, I think he brought up Bam Adebayo, and I talk about Miles Turner a lot. Miles Turner, he's soft, man. When he goes up against other good bigs, he gets, for lack of better words, he gets bitched.
Yeah.
So I'm not a fan of Miles Turner tonight. But Goran Dragic and Jimmy Butler will be back tonight, but how healthy are they? They haven't played in a few games. How many minutes will they even play? I'm not too sure about it. I mean, I know Jimmy Butler will want to play, but how healthy is he? We know T.J. Warren, even though he's been on the injury report, he just gave the Lakers 39. He's been tearing everybody up. And if he had any game circled in this bubble, it's this game right here. I agree with what Tony said, that it's going to be a tough game, and I think it will be a close game. So I would lean more towards grabbing the points with Indiana. And they're 4-1, I think, against the spread in the restart. And I think both of these teams will be able to get up and down the court and score some points tonight. So I would lean Indiana and probably over.
Yeah, and to Teddy's excellent stat that he mentioned last week, Indiana 4-1 straight up ATS, Miami 2-3 straight up ATS. As Teddy pointed out last week, basically if you win, you cover, whether it's favorite winning by margin or outright underdogs. We've seen that week after week so far, and it's applied for every game for both of these teams so far in the bubble. Once again, WagerTalk.com, $9 Monday. It's a fantastic deal. It's quite simple. Every best bet for $9 at WagerTalk.com for all these expert cappers. Teddy has a best bet in the game we just talked about. I myself have an NBA best bet for tonight as well. I also have a free play up there. I wanted to mention that all of the cappers have free plays up almost every day. There's lots of free plays there. So even if you're trying to build your bankroll, you're not quite ready for $9 Monday. Not sure how you couldn't be ready for $9 Monday. To be honest, if you can't afford $9 Monday, you probably need to build that bankroll a little bit more. But there are free plays there. And I do have a free baseball play, by the way, on my page, Steve Merrill at WagerTalk.com. Let's go around this nightcap here. I want to start with you, Rob, because that was an excellent point about the new arena. It's only the second time a game's been played in this arena. Right now we have one in progress. Jazz Mavericks, into the first quarter, they put up 68 points. So those rims are apparently, I guess, soft would be the word, correct? Soft rims, you have more scoring over tight rims, I believe. So see, I don't know if we take much away from that, Rob, but 68 points so far in the first game, soaring over the total. And interesting enough, same total in this game, Lakers and Nuggets, 221-ish. That was the Mavericks Jazz total. So do you think Lakers -5, 221 over the Nuggets? Will we see a high-scoring game as well there?
Yeah, I think, Steve, when you consider, take into consideration the fact that, in Utah, Dallas, no Luka, no Porzingis, no Donovan Mitchell, and still they got the 68 in the first quarter with none of that potential scoring. They probably are ultra soft rims. The Lakers, wow, Ski is sitting right next to me, so I can't be too harsh. But, boy, this is a miserable-looking basketball team. Frank Vogel cannot coach his way out of a job. I guess, Jason Kidd's probably going to be the head coach, so maybe he's just sitting in the place of the head coach for this season. But this team came out the other night, 6-point favorite. And I know they were a 6-point favorite early because TJ Warren wasn't supposed to play. Then he did play. But the shooting, guys, has been so miserable. I don't know. Tony started this bubble by making the point that he did not believe that LA had anything to play for, and the Lakers probably would be, I don't know, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but it sounded like he would use them as a fade in certain situations. Now, I don't know if it's because they just don't want to be there and they just want to get onto the playoffs, because it looks to me like they're trying and they still stink. Danny Green can't shoot. Nobody on this team can shoot. LeBron played the other night and the offense got a little bit better, but I'm going to attribute that more toward the fact that Indiana plays now with pace, which I meant to come back to on Ski's last point about the prior game, Indiana-Miami. Indiana's played with a lot of pace in the bubble. Over might be a good look there as well. But here, I can't trust LA shooting. Anthony Davis, I don't know where he's been the last 2 games. I know 3 games ago he had a slight injury, continued to play. But when they played Houston, a game where he should have gone off for 30-plus, he only had 17 points. He comes back the other night, and I think he scored 8 points against Indiana. I know it was less than double digits in that contest. Nowhere to be found. If he's nowhere to be found, the Lakers are nowhere to be found, because LeBron James is not going to win a title all by himself. And the supporting cast looks miserable right now. So for me, what I've seen out of Denver, hey, listen, Jamal Murray came back. His first game back, he sets a career high in rebounds. So Jamal Murray's ready to play. That's just another piece to the Nuggets, added on to Michael Porter, who they found here. I'm not sure that I'll get there, guys, but I do think Denver, if I was going to play, it would be the Denver side here until LA shows me different.
Teddy, do you see anything in the final few minutes of the show? Do you see anything makes you think the Lakers have this game circled to try to snap that 3-game losing streak?
So in my mind, it's the easiest pass on the board. All right. And I can say this, and Rob made a good case against LA, and I'll talk about that in a second, but I'm going to make a pretty strong case against Denver, because if you watch that game against Utah less than 48 hours ago, Denver ain't coming tonight. They went all in for that game. Everybody went all in. They hit every shot down the stretch. They hit every shot, and they had to regulate first overtime and then second overtime. And everybody played major minutes. We saw Murray was supposed to be on 22-minute limit. He ended up playing 30-plus. I can't see Denver. I wouldn't be surprised at all to see Denver be a step slow tonight. I mean, that really was a war. So the Nuggets, for me, there's no way I want Denver. The Lakers right now are dead last offensively in 15 different categories in the ball. They are. Offensive efficiency, 3-point shooting, points per 100%. You can go on and on down the line. Yeah. The question is, after completely remaking their backcourt, remember, people are just forgetting, by the way, both guards that the Lakers starting guards that they had all year are now gone, and they have new starting guards. There's a process there. Yeah. I haven't seen any quote. In fact, I saw a particular quote from Anthony Davis saying, yeah, we're working on it. It'll be okay. I didn't see that urgency quote from Davis. I haven't seen the urgency quote from LeBron. And without those quotes, I can't lay points with the Lakers.
Yeah, and Tony, I'm going to save Ski for last because the Lakers are his team. But real quick, so we get to the in-show wagers, if you want in the last minute or two, Tony, any thoughts on Lakers and Nuggets here? And I will say, by the way, if you had the over in that Nuggets game, that was a tough beat because I think it was at 210 before the first of two overtimes started the other night.
Yep. My take on this is that I'm not straying far from what I said at the beginning of this bubble, and that was I didn't think the Lakers were going to play hard. I just didn't. They couldn't afford an injury. I mean, before the bubble, during the bubble, Anthony Davis got poked in the eye and was questionable to start. That game, he went ahead and played. He scored 30-plus some points. I think that he played pretty well last game. I just think that here's the problem. They don't have very good spacing. The Lakers, if you watch them, their spacing in the post is horrible. And if it's horrible, even Anthony Davis can get double-teamed and struggle to score. He was 3 of 14 from the field, whatever it was, 4 turnovers. I thought he played hard, but I didn't think he played smart. And Teddy makes a good point. Rob makes good points here. Listen, Vogel, the Lakers do not have a lot of room for error because they don't have the third scorer. And LeBron and Anthony have to be really good every game for this team to win a championship. We're going to see. It's going to be fun, and it's going to be fun arguing with you guys during the whole damn thing.
Ski Profit, the Laker jersey is not on, but I have a feeling it's hanging ready to go. Will your team turn things around when the postseason begins, and what are your thoughts on this game tonight?
I do think you see a better Lakers team when the postseason begins. It's a lot of things that I want to touch on here. First, the Vogel. I'm not a big believer in Frank Vogel. He all throughout the year, like his rotations were not making a lot of sense to me. And he even now, like you can kind of just see from watching all the games, he's just trying a bunch of stuff out, just throwing people out there together, just seeing what's going on. And the next thing I want to touch on is the Lakers, the Anthony Davis thing. The other night, he shouldn't have played. He looked like he didn't really care. I agree he should have destroyed Houston, but he looked like he wanted to sit out with LeBron. He shouldn't have been on the court at all. So I'm not going to take too much out of it. And as far as other things, like you're talking about maybe who's playmaking or whatever for the Lakers or how they look, spacing and all of this stuff, you got to remember LeBron didn't play, Caruso didn't play. They didn't have guys to set them up. They were giving the ball to Anthony Davis and expecting him to do everything. So I think you're definitely going to see a different Lakers team once the playoffs start. Will you see that tonight? I'm not so sure. We talked about teams, they don't have nothing to play for. They may come out and start the game okay, but then the second half, maybe LeBron doesn't play. Fourth quarter, you might not see LeBron and Anthony Davis. We've seen that a few times already. And with Denver, I don't know if it was – I think it was Teddy maybe last time. He brought up the coach. He kind of was trying to pump the players up and saying that they're going to be ready to go. And they came out there and they did win that game. And I think they kind of keep it going here. I think that they still care. I think that the Lakers won't care as much. The one problem I have with Denver, if you're going to back them, is they do not defend the pick and roll well. And if the Lakers are coming to play, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, or whoever can pick and roll to death. So if I had to play, it would be Denver plus the points. And I would probably go over because if the Lakers come to play, I don't think Denver stops the pick and roll.
Yeah, speaking of overs, the one game the Lakers have left after this is Sacramento, and they don't play them until the 13th. And I mentioned that because I had another best bet over winner last night for my clients with that Sacramento game. That was the first one I had a couple weeks ago. And if I'm the Lakers, I feel like the Sacramento game is the dress rehearsal because don't you want to go into the playoffs with some momentum, with a nice showing? So if that's the case, buyer beware. This might be another game they don't care about tonight. But as Teddy and most of you have said, it's kind of guesswork. We're not in the business of guessing. We're in the business of trying to know as much as possible. A little bit over, guys. So we only have about a minute left. But any in-show wagers for this episode on Monday? Just chime in if you want it. I'm sure Tony Finn has something.
In game as far as what's going on now or what's going to happen tonight?
In show. By the way, the Suns are up by 1 at halftime. They're winning outright. So if anybody wants an 8-0 Suns bubble season, if any takers or givers on that, we could throw it in. But what do you got, Tony?
What is it? Can I ask the number in that game right now, Teddy? What is the number on that Suns game?
4.5, 110.
I'll tell you right now, from what I just looked at in the box score, I would take the Suns. I'd lay 4. I'd lay the 4.5. I'll lay the 4.5. And tonight, I'm also of the school of thought. Like I said, I know that there's been some who disagreed. I like the Bucks.
We have any takers? Anybody want the other side of that with the Raptors?
I do have a wager that somebody will take. It's not that one, but I know probably anybody on the panel is going to jump at it.
I'll take it.
Yep. I'll take the Pacers tonight. Everybody likes the Heat. I'll take TJ Warren. I'll see what he can do.
How many points do I get?
Well, what is it right now? Tony, here goes Tony trying to work me again.
You should be getting 3.5 to 4. So you got to figure it out. The line's 3.5 for Miami right now.
You know, what do you want?
You know what? I say that they. It's tough, Tony. I'm gonna just do 3 points. 3 points.
No,
as always, Ski
4.
giving him a cheap line.
No, I'm giving him 4 because I refuse to be be one up.
You don't want to owe him any more than you already do.
I think didn't I get even? Didn't you owe me?
Yeah, it might be.
That girl that came knocking at the door the other night wasn't from you.
I'll tell you what. That'll be our in-show wager for Monday. So Tony, you're giving 4. Ski's getting the Pacers +4. Tony's taking Miami -4.
4.
Gotcha.
And I tell you what, 4 and if just 4. Take the 4. Take the 4.
All right, you guys, plan ahead here. I want some in-show wagers tomorrow on Tuesday. We'll be back our normal time, 3 p.m. Eastern, every Monday through Friday. And don't forget, once again, one last time, WagerTalk.com, $9 Monday. It's quite simple. Every best bet, whether it's normally a $25 or $40 play, is only $9 all day and all night. We all have best bets up there for this evening at WagerTalk.com. For myself, Steve Merrill, Tony Finn, Teddy Covers, Rob Vino, Ski Profit, thanks for watching. Good luck tonight. We'll be back tomorrow, Tuesday, regular time, 3 p.m. Eastern for NBA tip-off. Take care, guys.
These guys can cap the NBA.